For minor cuts or medical ills, one of the first places we turn is the medicine cabinet. But how does yours stack up? Doctors say your medicine cabinet should have a thermometer and a good selection of first aid products, including bandages and gauze pads. Instruments that are must-haves are tweezers for splinters and nail clippers for cutting loose skin. And don't forget sunblock, along with aloe vera to apply to burns. Doctors say medicine cabinets should also have an all-around antiseptic. But make sure you throw away expired medicines and don't keep things more than a year. Well, they help us relax, unwind, and can even set the mood. But what you probably don't realize, I think I realize, that is that in some cases, candles can even make you sick. As Robin DeWind explains, their flames release soot and lead that can damage not only your home, but your health.
I think it's warmth. It's beauty.
Candles have become a $2 billion industry. It may be due in part to new interest in aromatherapy. But Judy Price with Cornell Cooperative Extension says the beautiful smell could harm your health.
I think you can tell when I open this up, there's an aroma in this one, too. It generally means that essential oils have been added to that candle. So now we have a higher oil level, which means it's going to burn with more soot.
This is what candle soot looks like in your home. If it's on your walls, it can go in your lungs. Mike Collins does home renovations and repairs. He sees the damage every day.
The ash, the sub-micron ash, can get into your lungs, and actually the ash from candles will get into your bloodstream and settle in your lungs because your system doesn't filter out. It isn't designed to filter out that type of ash.
Another problem is most candle makers don't list ingredients. They don't tell you that some wicks have metal, which can actually contain lead.
Lead is not visible. You're just not going to see that, really. It'll volatilize. It may end up on the rug, and then, especially if you've got small children who are putting their hands in their mouth, they can end up with blood lead levels that are too high.
Unfortunately, it's hard just by looking at candles to tell which ones have lead, but there's a way you can check your candles at home. This instant lead testing kit can be bought in almost any home hardware store.
We tested candles bought at a variety of stores. We burned the candles over a piece of glass, then tested the soot left behind. We found red, which means there's lead. So how do you protect yourself? First, don't buy candles from Mexico or China. They usually use lead wicks. Check to see if there is a shiny core. Buy cotton wick candles instead. Next, trim your wicks to 1/4 inch. The shorter wick means less soot. Also buy aroma-free candles. And finally, don't burn your candles more than for an hour at a time. That will reduce the amount of soot in the air.
It's really a shame that we have to be concerned about something as pretty as this.
I'm Robin DeWind for NBC News.
An aging population means more cancer on the whole, but cancer rates in younger Americans are actually going down, and survival rates are up, thanks to early detection, improved treatments, and a better understanding of tumors. Doctors say new discoveries in cancer cell makeup could teach them how to stop cancer before it starts. Within the next 50 to 100 years, doctors predict they'll be able to identify the tumors our kids are most at risk for and take action before the cancer does. That's all for today's Health Matters. Adam?
Do you like to collect coins? Check out the flip side of the new state quarters. What you see or don't see could add more change to your piggy bank. You're watching 7 and 4 News at 5.
Meet your 11 at 11 News team, Northern Michigan native Nancy Loveland. It's her energy and enthusiasm. From Nancy, you'll learn not just what happened, but why. And veteran journalist and anchorman Dave Walker. It's his wisdom and experience. From Dave, you'll not get just the facts, but perspective. Wisdom, experience, energy, and enthusiasm on 7 and 4 News 11 at 11, where you get today's top stories, tomorrow's weather, plus the latest sports scores all in the first 11 minutes. Turn to Dave Walker and Nancy Loveland, weeknights on 7 and 4 News 11 at 11.
Check your pocket change. Are there any quarters in there? If you happen to have one with a defect, that coin may be worth way more than its face value. As Sonia Pfeiffer explains, some of the newly minted quarters have a little problem that could put a little more money in your pocket.
Just try to get through a week without needing a quarter. But before aimlessly slipping 25-cent coins into money-hungry slots, you may want to double-check old George. Seems the U.S. Mint flubbed up a few batches of the State Series quarters designed to honor Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Connecticut.
Right now, they're only around $400 or $500.
It might seem like chump change to a coin dealer, but a quarter worth $400 or $500 sounds pretty attractive to us little guys. The test: hold the quarter upright, head side facing you, then flip it over. On the defect, the tail side will appear upside down. The U.S. Mint has no idea how many quarters have the defect. They're not even exactly sure how it happened, but there is a good chance the defects are plentiful.
You can look at bags and bags and never see one, and then some guy walking on the street in Delaware, gee, well, look at this. That's how they're found.
Long before the defect was found, in fact, as soon as the U.S. Mint started circulating the State Series, there's been a big turnaround in coin collecting. In fact, the U.S. Mint estimates that 60% of Americans are trolling for new quarters. Well, that makes your odds of being the guy who stumbles across a defect on the street pretty slim. Probably stop folks from looking. Among this school bus full of kids, dozens say they're diligently collecting the State Series. Even more carefully now they know about the defect.
I want to find it.
I would sell to get the money.
Their teacher might have the best odds.
Because they all owe me a quarter when we get back, so I'm going to be checking to see if they give me the Pennsylvania.
Meantime, coin collectors are already looking for the next big thing.
I look for the president's wives on the dimes next year, and maybe Monica might even get on one. I don't know.
Don't let that suggestion stop you from hanging on to your quarters. Sonia Pfeiffer for NBC News.
Well, not today. A moderately heavy day of trading on Wall Street today with 920 million shares changing hands. Here's a look at how stocks of northern Michigan interest fared today.
Another sloppy day across northern Michigan. Hello, we're looking for more rain, more drizzle, more fog, and temperatures, hey, somewhat mild, so it shouldn't be too bad. Advanced warning Doppler is showing somewhat of a southerly flow, but the winds are coming from the east. But the moisture from the upper and mid-levels continuing to push up from the south, so we're going to see this influx of moisture for the next 24 hours. It'll end up breaking up by tomorrow mid-afternoon. Until then, look for the scattered showers. Temperatures cooling into the low 40s by evening. Fog setting in overnight. A dense fog advisory in effect for the western and central upper Michigan. For tomorrow morning, we'll see temperatures down to the near 37-degree mark with scattered rain showers tapering off to light drizzle by noontime, and then we'll stay fairly dry for the afternoon. Around the region, our temperatures aren't too bad. 40 degrees for the Straits area all the way down to Alpena, and then into the mid to upper 40s elsewhere across the state. Not much is going to change over the next 24 hours, although a cold front is poised just off to our west. It'll be breaking up. That means we're going to see the clouds and the scattered drizzle well through about noontime. Scattered showers for the overnight hours, so cover up anything you don't want to get wet for the overnight hours. Fog expected overnight. Temperatures dropping down to the middle to upper 30s across the eastern UP and Straits area. Winds light out of the east under 7 miles an hour. Fog won't be quite as thick south of the mighty Mac, but there will be pockets where it could be a problem. Temperatures farther to the south into the mid to upper 30s. You might hit 40 degrees for Ludington and Manistee, but again, that'll be a long shot. Winds out of the east will keep the fog in the area as well, so be careful driving. Here's a look at my rating of the day. Somewhat sloppy for the morning hours with fog tapering off to dry conditions by the afternoon, so we'll put it at a solid 6. But what will the weekend have in store? We'll have that answer coming up and much more in a little while.
Okay, Greg, thanks. If you're frustrated by the rising cost of gas, you're not alone. See how one man with one van delivery service pays the ultimate price. That's next in Walker's World on 7 and 4 News at 5.
All right. Welcome to Walker's World. I'm Dave Walker. Everyone's wondering how high gas prices will go, and nobody's watching as close as B.A. Langley. The owner of a tiny delivery service, he prides himself in running on time. But as John Miller found, B.A. is among those who won't be running at all if the price of gas keeps going up.
Thank you.
It's not hard to see why B.A. Langley calls his delivery business PDQ. You do move pretty darn quick.
That's what it's all about.
B.A. can always beat the clock, but this one-man, one-van operation is having trouble keeping up with the cost of gas.
Every time you go by one of these gas stations and look up at that sign,
I feel a sinking feeling, you know, like, oh, not again.
Because every increase means a few more dollars every time he fills up, which is almost every day.
so that can get up to about a couple $100 a month.
Oh, easily.
They're saying gas prices could go up $2 by later this summer. What's $2 a gallon going to do to this business?
Well, if I don't pass it on, I'm going to be out of business. That's all there is to it.
You can blame the government, you can blame the refiners or the distributors. B.A. Langley doesn't have time to blame anyone.
Excuse me a minute, I got to take care of this customer. I have seen actually 30 delivery services go under since I've been here.
Since he got this idea 15 years ago.
So I hawked a camera, got me $30.
And PDQ was born.
Yeah.
But these may be signs of changing times.
Want to scream, cry, cuss, whatever, you know. I just like to know where the money's going.
It isn't in your pocketbook.
It isn't in my pocket, that's for sure.
Which makes PDQ's bottom line pretty darn clear.
Gas is costing pretty darn much.
All right.
Your profits are going down pretty darn fast.
All right.
If something doesn't happen pretty darn soon,
I'm going to be pretty dang out of business.
John Miller for NBC News.
Of course, before that happens, BA says he may have to raise his prices for the first time in more than 2 years. Now let's look at some of the stories coming up on 7 and 4 News at 6.
5 exotic snakes just like this one are missing in Grand Traverse County. I'm Ann Ewald. Coming up at 6, I'll tell you just how dangerous that can be.
Find out how this and several other handmade watercraft are going to help protect and maintain the quality of northern Michigan watersheds and rivers.